Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, how are my snipers doing today? I hope you guys are doing fantastic. Listen up. Everything is pumping super hard. Over the last couple of days, we have seen Kaspa has made great progress, right? When there was some type of pullback, we didn't really get anything. We kind of just stayed and consolidated for those couple of days. And then in the last 2 days, we actually shot up, 20% and now even 1.21%, which is a lot for Kaspa, especially considering the structure we're in. Look, ladies and gentlemen, I am super excited to cover this coin once again. We will be talking about any relevant news, structure, and everything else. Guys, if you want a portfolio review, make sure to join the community. And look, man, times are crazy, right? Times are absolutely crazy right now. We can see that, look, we are preparing for the big update on May 5th. I mean, guys, this is one of those coins where I am super surprised if you do not have in your portfolio, right? I understand that on this channel, we don't cover, too much news and fundamentals on tokens. All right. But, there's a lot of research and there's a lot of, resources everywhere. And look, man, just know practically Kaspa is going to be pack-a-punching by 10 times on May 5th. So for me, buying before May 5th, especially obviously lower is better, but buying before the big update is going to be absolutely crucial, because for me, that once Kaspa becomes 10 times the coin it plans on becoming, that's it, right? That is it. Kaspa is just a powerhouse. And the crazy thing is, ladies and gentlemen, from this current moment, Kaspa does plan on becoming 100 times the coin it once will be. So we talked about how last time we were moving at a certain speed for Kaspa, right? The blocks getting mined per second, getting produced and everything. And, we are pretty much pack-a-punching by 10 on May 5th, but it eventually wants to be 100 times the coin that it once was. So there's just a lot of scaling and longevity in this token. Even if we go over here and we go search up Kaspa, right, we can see that we have great volume. We have 137 million volume in the last 24 hours. We're at 2.4 billion market cap, and we're not even on some of the big exchanges, right? That's the crazy thing. We still have to get listed on Coinbase. We still have to get listed on Binance. And there's other, medium to small exchanges that we're still not listed on. And I mean, right? I mean, there's still Robinhood. I bet you Robinhood eventually is going to be listing, a bunch more tokens. I mean, there's still so many things Kaspa can do to really pack a punch it. Now, Kaspa's goal is mainly to stay as decentralized as possible, to really stick to the crypto core and just kind of, in a way, become the new Bitcoin. Now, I'm not saying it is going to be the new Bitcoin, but that is ultimately, to shorten everything down, its goal. Now, the thing is, ladies and gentlemen, this is one of those coins where I feel super safe and, happy holding at night. Even if I bought like at 10 cents, 15 cents, I would still be very confident in this coin. That is the reality for Kaspa. Of course, you want to be buying the lower the better, especially for, your mental, for the amount of gains you're going to make and everything. But, I know some people, buy the tops, near the tops or near the middle. And I know they're listening right now. And I'm just saying, look, I would still sleep very comfortably, because we do have this big update May 5th. And we still don't have the support of a bunch of exchanges, and we're growing, right? This is kind of, in a way, all organic. The project itself is absolutely amazing. And we see Kaspa have pretty much, they have killed it, right? They have killed it in terms of, the progress they have made, right? This is some serious stuff for a coin that they're doing. The Crescendo map, right? It has come out, a couple of months ago. We had a roadmap of what, they wanted to do, and they have done everything perfectly. So in the future, when it's time to pack a punch this coin again, or reach out and do this or do that, or get on an exchange, they're going to have no problem, because they have a super competent team, and a team I am super confident in. They have shown, zero, and I mean zero, at least from what I've seen, any red flags, no delays in this, no delays in that, no problems here, no problems there. They're doing everything fundamentally well, just like their token is super, super fundamental and literally one of the best in the crypto scene. So look, fantastic, fantastic times. Let's talk about the actual charts itself. So we can see, ladies and gentlemen, we have officially gone above this weekly structure. And that is pretty much the first time ever that we've gone above some type of weekly structure. You could debate, over here, right? You could have debated over here. But the thing is, it was so weak. It was a very, very weak candle. And the reality is that we had massive, we had extremely, extremely massive rejections as we see, right? Huge, huge rejections. So even though this candle closed technically a little bit higher, the rejections were so bad. And when we went through the daily candles, right, we just kind of saw that, hey, we are actually printing lower and lower highs, right? We had this high over here, then we created a double and we just sold off, right? Absolutely not ideal. And then we can see it was the same type of thing here, right? We retested off the zone for a couple of days, couldn't hold, then created lower highs and boom, right? Bada bing, bada boom. But then something changed over here, right? We pretty much created a double bottom. We also saw a shift in momentum for Bitcoin and, just the markets in general. Then, of course, we were consolidating for a couple of days and now we broke out. I know it's not technically the end of the week, so, things can obviously change. But as long as we have a similar candle close as of right now, then we will be even having more confirmations that we are bullish. Look, I know some people need a lot of confirmations. If you really, really want to be safe and super, super bullish, once we start printing candles above the 11-cent mark is when we will be back in bullish territory. Okay. So even though there are many, many signs, and I do believe that we will continue to go up higher, even if there is a short term, a little bit of a sell off here before we actually break through. I believe ultimately, when you just simply zoom out, Kaspa will be reaching new highs. Now, I do believe this is one of those tokens that, even right now, it's going to be between 35 and 45 billion market cap at the bare minimum. I believe it's going to be one of those coins. So even if we were to 10x from here, we would be roughly at 90 cents, 24 billion market cap. If we were to go 20x, it would be 50 billion market cap, a little bit above, right? It would be a little bit above our zone, but we would be upwards of $1.80. So, even $1.70, $1.60, $1.50, all super, super probable. And that is where I expect Kaspa to end at the bare minimum. So, buying a coin for 5 cents and, it highly being likely that it ends up around even $1.50, 30x in a very safe project. Damn, ladies and gentlemen, you could have not got a better deal for the risk to reward. But that is it, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you guys did enjoy, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Goodbye.